What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. Happy New Year's. We have the January 1st Epic 7 update, and I hope there's some good stuff in here. It's been a little bit quiet on the Epic 7 front, at least in terms of new content. There are a lot of characters, though. We're just wrapping up the Young Senya event. Hopefully you guys did well on your bystander Hua Young summons if you did go for her. And I know a lot of us saw the new Adin, right? The new Adin previewed, so I'm assuming that's what we'll be watching today. But thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get this video started. All right, so here we go. We have the new school Adin, new kid Adin. Okay, Dark Thief 4-star, and very interesting. A girl who leaped headfirst into chaos to protect her childhood friend. And we'll go and watch that full video right after this. Give our first impressions. You guys know the drill. Check an event. We get some leafs. Looks good. That goes from the 2nd all the way to the 16th. Oh, wait. Was that 1,000 sky stones? Okay. Pretty nice. Craft your best gear event. This looks very similar to the... was it? I don't think it was called Craft Your Best Gear event, but essentially, was it last year or the year before? You pretty much get to pick the substats, and what it meant was... For example, you could get 17 speed substats because you could pick 3 subs and put it into 1 stat, right? So what most people did was, DPS are typically the most sought after, at least the hardest to gear compared to like tanks and supports. And so people would pick like an attack percent ring on maybe destruction, speed set, or penetration set, for example. And then you put 17 speed subs on there with like crit chance, crit damage, maybe 2 subs into crit chance, crit damage, and then attack, right? So attack, speed, crit chance, crit damage. And then you could pick 3 substats, like I said, into speed to give you 17 speed. We'll see if that's going to be the same. If it is, this is a very, very nice event. Make sure you guys choose and plan accordingly. And it looks like we do have the entire month of January to figure that out. So very good news. Gear is always tough to come around in Epic 7. Here we have a Biblis side story rerun. Okay. Wonder if that's going to include the gardening event. World Arena is going to begin on the 11th. All right, all right. Haste banner. Remember, guys, always skip these. And, oh, okay. Since the Biblis banner is coming back, right, that includes the Blooming Litica, which happened right after her as well. So if you missed out, make sure you keep an eye out. We have the Mystic Summon rotation once Bystander Hua Young leaves. And it does include, I would say the left 2 are very, very strong. Especially Archdemon's Shadow. I was kind of saying in the balance patch notes, if you guys watched that video of mine, that I did like the buffs overall. She definitely needed some love, but there was a few things they took away from her kit that I wasn't the biggest fan of. That being said, now that they have those buffs and they stacked the exclusive equipment on top of it, Archdemon's Shadow is looking crazy good. So, yeah, if you don't have her yet and you have some Mystics, it might be worth considering pulling her. Likewise with Designer Lilibet. She was shaping up near the end of the last season to be very, very strong. The buffs made her damage very, very nice. The new buffs, quality of life, all of her kit does really well as both a damage dealer and a cleanser. And I think she is fit really well into the meta as long as units like Harsetti stay dominant. So keep an eye on these 2. And then I would say Silver Blade. You know what? I would say that a lot of the characters now that have received buffs here and there, I think Commander Pavel, though, it's been a minute. He may be shifted out. I'm not a cleaver, so I don't know exactly how good he is, but I hardly see him anymore. But I know other units, I'll just say the left 2 are looking the most promising, but don't count out other units. I feel like Smilegate has been looking at a lot of these ML5s, especially the weaker ones, and giving them some touch-ups here and there. And all right, I guess that's it for, so on the 9th, Thursday, we will be getting a 4-star banner. I'm still waiting for that rose, the dragon rose, but all right. We'll see if, one last tip, guys, before we watch the new kid Adin preview. If you do have some Galaxy bookmarks right now, go ahead and save them because even though it's still unlikely to hit the 4-star that you want, it is way more likely, right? You're going to be swimming in 4 stars compared to 5 stars at least. So your odds of getting a new kid Adin are actually not bad if you save up a considerable amount of Galaxy bookmarks. It's a nice way to try and get these 4-star banners when Smilegate does release them because they are kind of rare nowadays. But yeah, let's go and see what she's about. Hopefully she's pretty good, and I'll see you guys over there. Alrighty, y'all. Preview for Adin loaded up. New kid Adin. Let's go and check it out.
I'm getting pumped. Please share your wisdom? Since I let you have one, time to return the favor.
Cool. Very anime.
All this tension. I love it.
Very Japanese.
Adin grew up under strict guidance from her grandfather to suppress her innate violent tendencies. However, because of a few small mistakes during her rebellious middle school years, she became the central figure of the strongest middle schooler of Nata Prefecture legend. Meanwhile, when Teiyu, who had trained at the same dojo since childhood and was like a sibling to her, suddenly transferred to Gon High School and dropped contact, Adin herself transferred to that same school without hesitation in search of her friend.
All right.
New kid Adin.
We'll take over from here as per usual. But yeah, the school, this new kind of lore, character development, whatever you guys want to call it. The new theme, the new plot is developing, and here we go with new kid Adin, Dark Thief, Sagittarius, 119 speed. So, not the fastest, but pretty speedy there. Very offensive attack subs. Let's go and scroll ahead and see what her kit's about. So let's start with the passive. You started this. Increases evasion by 30. Oh god, we got another evasion unit. I'm still not over the fire flan and her shenanigans, but we have 4, 7, 10. I'm assuming this leads up to 15, right? Yeah, 50% evasion base on a passive. And when successfully evading, grants vigor to the caster for 1 turn. At the end of someone's turns when the caster granted vigor, increase combat readiness of the caster by 10%. Very interesting. Okay, so she will constantly push at the end of anyone's turn by 10%. And as long as she has the vigor buff, right, which also gives stats, and I'm assuming some other benefits here as soon as we see her other skills. But she does need to dodge to get that, and we'll see what else that has to enable. But yeah, so far very simple passive. It's got evasion, vigor built in with some combat readiness when she does dodge, right? Dodge to enable the buff, and then the combat readiness for every turn, which will cycle a lot once that's active. Let's go and see the preview here, what this all looks like. Is there an animation and all that?
Grants vigor.
Oh, let me mute this right here. All right. So in the showcase, we do have Conqueror Lilies here. Granting some buffs for the squad. So instead of having the dodge, right, which I was just talking about, we grant the buff via Conquer Lilius, and there's a lot of other units, right, that can benefit off of this. And so instead of her having to dodge, now she'll start getting those benefits like the combat readiness. Skill 3 is Scattering Petals, Falling Leaves. After increasing attack of the caster for 3 turns. Okay. So we do have the attack up for 3 turns, which is kind of crazy. Attacks the enemy with an exceptional technique, inflicting injuries. All right, so we got an injury unit. The severity of injuries increase proportional to damage dealt. Injuries decrease max health of the target by up to 30% every time the skill is used. And it's going to be... Oh, okay, I see. When the caster is granted vigor, a successful attack deals additional damage equivalent to 100% of injuries inflicted on the target. All right, so we have an added benefit there. And the more we injure, right, which will scale up every time we use it. Additionally, when we do have the vigor buff, we will get that additional damage pop, similar to units like Death Dealer Ray, based off the injury, right? So additional damage on top of that. We'll see how much it does here in the preview. But the thing is, if we do want, you know, I was looking at 5 turns, and I was saying, or I was thinking to myself, like, the fact that we want to use this a lot, how long is she actually going to stay in the field, or how long will the match go where she'll be able to press this more than a few times? But if we do soul burn this for 10 souls, that is only a 3-turn cooldown. And if we also, excuse me, that is a 2-turn cooldown because we have the 1 from skill enhancement, additional 2 here, and the fact that she cycles so fast. If we do end up soul burning this with a vigor buff, it could be quite significant. So, all right, I'm kind of seeing what Smilegate's trying to cook up here. Let's go and see the animations and kind of see the damage too, what they're planning here in this showcase. This is a nasty team, by the way. The Briar Witch, the newly buffed Archdemon, and then you have Conqueror Lilius enabling them all. But let's see here. Okay, so self-attack up for 3 turns. We did not soul burn it here, though. But we do have the vigor buff. And that did 12k with a bonus. How much injury did she have on her already? Okay, quite a lot there. But as you guys can see, right? You get that initial 12k hit. Shepherd of the Hollow. Was her artifact Shepherd of the Hollow? 12k hit, and then the explosion afterwards, based off the amount of injury missing already, 21, almost 22,000 damage. So she can definitely pump out some numbers. Skill 1, active and opening. Attacks enemy with a bamboo sword, inflicting injuries. All right, so here's the other enabler. So we don't necessarily need to bring other injury units. While we want to wait for the explosions, or let's say setting up vigor buff. Let's say you don't have Conqueror Lilius. You want to wait for an AoE or someone to target her, get her that vigor buff. Then you can start soul burning it. We also are building up injury via the S1. And it also, injuries decrease max health to target. Yeah, we know about injury already. When used on the caster's turn, if the caster's granted vigor, it attacks all enemies. Oh, wow. The change attack does not trigger, or the change attack does not trigger a dual attack. Interesting. So she could have an AoE attack. Cannot trigger duels, which is very typical for that. We do have to be a little careful though for it seems like it can proc counter attacks, right? So we need to be just a little wary of that. Maybe that'll be something people try to counterpick, but we do still have the S2 evasion to kind of defend us potentially. But yeah, let's go and see the preview here for an opening. So we do have the buff, right? Hold up. Let me see that again real quick. Was that not on our turn? Oh, hold up. When used on the caster's turn, the caster granted attacks all enemies. Let me see that again. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was wondering why the numbers felt so off there. It's because Ambitious Tywin was invincible, and it was Fire Flan who was dodging right permanently here. Still did 4,200 and then 15k to the dome right there. All right. Not the best showcase to show the AoE potential there, right? You're hitting a full evasion unit and an invincible unit, but yeah. Looks very strong. That was a lot of damage to roll. Here's the animation. Sitting super serene. I don't know how there's some leaves inside this tavern. Garo needs to fix the roof. But very cool. All right. And yeah, I think they were using Shepherd of the Hollow. Let's go ahead and talk here. This is a long hero preview, by the way. But yeah. So they're enabling with Conqueror List, which is going to definitely be a common theme here. Then you can also combo other units that also want vigor buffs. I believe her childhood friend, at least the one that is already available, not future characters. But yeah, she is rocking Shepherd of the Hollow to stack 20% additional evasion. So she will be a 70% evasion unit, right? Which has no way to reduce it because it is just a passive and we're getting the rest from the artifact. Here is that skill 3 with a big pop. I want to watch this again real fast. Start from the beginning, guys. Sorry. But just checking here. So there was a tiny bit of injury already built up onto this Ilanov, which is a Empyrean Ilanov, which is a huge problem for a lot of players. But it wasn't too much, and actually she did soul burn. I don't know if I said she did not in the preview video, but yeah. So that's actually a ton of damage off of not that much injury built up yet already, right? Just to showcase again real fast. She is missing some health. But with that self-attack up and a tiny bit of injury, plus the additional injury procced on the front-loaded end of this damage, 12k, that's quite a lot. And does Tywin have Aureus here? I think he does, right? So that's even additional mitigation that is just powering through. This almost looks like a composition I would play, except for the Ruel. But yeah, okay, so let's keep going. Follow up with the Briar Witch Iseria here. Shepherd of the Hollow, by the way, guys, I think is a very solid artifact. One of the best artifacts just for damage. Even on units that want evasion, right? Because it's just a lot of damage. And then additionally, when you do take that chip damage, as you can see here, we're just scaling up even more. But this is going to be a longer match because Ruel's kind of stalling out here. Cannot res because of the Briar Witch Iseria, but she does proc here. And this is where we actually saw the AoE in the preview. So a lot of damage onto that Ruel. My God. And remember, guys, that is through Aureus, unless I'm missing something. But Tywin keeps taking damage. So I'm assuming that is Aureus, or at least some type of damage mitigation sharing effect. Ruel here. Going to top herself off at least a little bit. 9.8k. Mary's turn with the soul burn. We're going to take out that passive. Start hitting her. There's that dual attack. And I was about to say that's a random duel, but no, that's from the new Archdemon Mercedes exclusive equipment, I believe, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I've been on break away from vacation, so I haven't actually gotten to play with it just yet. But I do remember seeing that at procs dual attack now. And here we go. Since we did Soulburn, we have the S3 back already. Show me the damage. Hit him with that bamboo stick. Wait. Oh, the damage limiter. Okay. I was about to say that was a little not super exciting, but yeah. Okay. This is why, dude, is this a Archdemon showcase or is this an Adin showcase? Because my God. But yeah, so I think she definitely has potential. The damage numbers look to be there. The only problem is if we can't guarantee a unit like Conqueror Lilius, how awkward is it for her? How much counterplay is there? I think always in areas like Arena and Guild Wars where you can fight against units that, let's say they'll proc AoE, or we maybe bring her, this could be a little risky because she only has 8,000 health, but maybe we bring her solo dark unit against light units so that she will dodge and get that vigor buff for herself. Then she can start enabling skill 3, skill 1. But otherwise, yeah, you're typically going to want an enabler instead because you want to build her high damage, it looks like in this showcase. And if you don't dodge that 50% or 70% if you have an evasion artifact, you could just get one tapped. But other than that, yeah, as long as she has the vigor buff, she seems very solid. So definitely looks like a fun unit to try. We'll see how good she is. RTA is always the question in terms of how much counterplay. Does she fit the meta well enough? But I think for areas just like Arena, Guild Wars, potentially even PvE. No, scratch that, guys. The injury, we won't get any effects from the injury, so probably not there. But yeah, Arena Guild Wars, at least so far, she's looking to look very, very solid. She was blowing up units like Ilana, blowing up units like Ruel here. But time will tell if she's good enough for real-time Arena, especially leading into this new season. But as a 4-star, I think she has a lot of potential, all right? Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.